I'm Professor. For tutorial 3 today, I was having some troubles with audio. Uh, However, nonetheless, I'm going to be showing tutorial 3 interactivity and feedback mechanisms that I tested and built in Shape6R. Well, I built some of it on my laptop. The goal is to make like every available trigger in action, and the goal was just to make it usable and meaningful and something to kind of look into. So here's frame 1, kind of hovering over the green arrow in a bit. I think I do it now, but it kind of plays a sound before I do anything. I'm having trouble with the sound, trying to balance it in the recording software because it just tends to be very loud from the headset for some reason. But there is a sound that's being played, and the audio does that without needing anything like it. As soon as you enter the frame, it'll kind of play the sound. And then here's kind of my second frame. Clicking the egg snaps the camera to a different viewpoint, which is kind of useful for like redirecting someone's attention. Like if you don't, you see it snap there. Um, Not exactly on the egg, but a little bit close to it. I was trying to get the egg to work, but it wasn't working for some reason. But yeah, it kind of helps for reducing like the attention without making the user physically move. Like if you want them to look somewhere else, you can just kind of force them to do that as well. And then I also have the arrow here. I think if I press the egg, it will also kind of change its shape and form there. And this is kind of like my exhibit hall. And yeah, and then hovering over the arrow, it plays a sound as well, which kind of helps you to make sure you're confirming like it's the exit. Cool. And now we're on my third frame here, and the red object on click kind of gives like a light haptic feedback and sound. I try to keep it subtle because it's a smaller interaction, but the green ball gives a much heavier haptic feedback and louder audio. Yeah, hopefully you can hear this in the recording because I am having trouble. I submitted before and trying to submit it again when I realized. But yeah, the contrast is kind of just to be like to show the user like, the one is heavier, this is what it'll feel like on the controller, and the one is lighter. Also, it's left controller and then right controller kind of corresponds to both of the balls, like the green and the red, and then there's like a little pillar in between to kind of like, make you think more about the left and kind of right. Both of them have different sounds. Actually, one of the sounds plays um, not even on hover, and in this screen actually, you'll see there's no arrow, and that's kind of dedicated. See, I show the controller here, and that's because I want to show that in the next to get to the next frame, you actually have to press either or any button on either controller. So once I press the button here, you'll see that. Okay, great. From here on, I was able to um, get to the last frame. And the last frame here, I had to do a little bit of editing just because it was playing the audio very, very loud. So once I changed that, it was all good. And then I come back into the scene, and it takes around 20 seconds for me I put a time delay. So it takes 20 seconds for me to go back to the first frame, or you can just press the green arrow and I'll bring you back over. But yeah, the hover sound was one thing, felt very natural. It kind of, especially when it highlights that it's hovering, you just know you need to click it. And that gives a lot of subtle clue, like especially in VR. And then I actually had strong feedback. Like as soon as you enter frame 4, it will automatically like buzz both controllers. And that's a nice thing to tell you like, hey, you're in a different frame now, you're in a different environment, like the walls are pink and some other stuff. But Shape6R definitely had its limitations with the viewpoints. Kind of snap drifted where I saved it and didn't really help. The touch trigger was inconsistent, didn't always like register first try, and then yeah, the touch and the fallback click has to be like a fallback for the touch kind of thing, and the audio gets delayed um, a little bit, and I think that just depends on which trigger you kind of use it for. That makes the world of the difference. Overall, the museum concept kind of highlights what presence in VR actually means. Like using all of these interactions It's about directing attention, making sure the user understands, gets feedback, so that they can actually use what they need in real life. This kind of relates to like an actual museum. I wanted to make it like that because in an actual museum you usually have interactions, or you can hear, or you can see better, stuff like that. And I kind of layered all that feedback, and then to make it like a multimodal like interaction. Um, I just wanted to make it feel like more immersive, so we used every single thing here in this museum. And it's a very simple kind of concept.